Hey guys, welcome back. We're finally ready to get back to the smoothie build. I've got my build bench done. If you haven't been watching that, please check out the video on my build bench build and take a look at it and let me know what you think. Still got some stuff I'm working on with it, trying to work some stuff out, but for the most part I've got it ready to go. I'm ready to get back to the smoothie build, which I haven't done anything on in almost 2 months. So I'm glad to get back to it and get this thing worked out. So when I left off, I was just doing some work on the secondary hull. I got some of the lighting worked out in here, but what I want to work out before I do anything else to it is I want to get my shuttle bay done. And if you look back at it, you'll remember that I dropped it and it broke, and it was just a mess to try to get back together. The decals for the green strawberry hanger ended up just curling over, and they were impossible to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do some lines on the floor here from where the decal's missing. Get that done. I'm not too worried about the back part because you're not going to see it, because pretty much once I get the shuttle bay on and you get these little hanger doors on there, you're not going to see a whole lot through there, and you can see directly through it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece and I'm going to make a door just like this is a blast door. I think that's what the purpose was for this. And I'm going to close that off on the back side and probably cut some sheet styrene and try to put a pattern on that to match what the doors look like in the motion picture. But I'm going to work on that. I've got a little bit of a review to do that I want to do on the warp nacelles. I've got some new information. So we're going to take a look at that too, and we'll see what we get done on the build this week. Be right back. Alright guys, so before I get back into working on my secondary hull here, I want to do a little review, go back to these nacelles for a minute. About my second or third video I think I was working on the nacelles, maybe my first, but I put these aside because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with them, because there was a little discrepancy in what I was seeing in the actual studio model shots and what you see on film. So, and that occurs with a lot of the stuff in Trek. I mean, it's like the question of what color is the original series ship. You know, on screen it looked a different color than what it actually was in filming. So, in looking at this, originally I thought that because it looks so dark in the film that maybe these had been repainted, but actually Sean Donovan had shared an article. There was somebody had posted a question about what color to paint the inboard and outboard grills, and the Trek Modeler paint guide calls for you to use a Euro 1 gray, which is a very dark, almost black gray. But when I looked at studio models, I saw this picture and it looks kind of violet. So I kind of set it aside because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. I wasn't sure if this was how it originally looked or if it had been repainted at some point during filming. But like I said, Sean Donovan posted there was an article, a 6-part interview with Richard Taylor, who was, I think, one of the lead, I forget exactly what his title was, but he had a lot to do with the design and implementation of the special effects on the studio model. And actually what they did was, this is I believe stainless steel, and they used a blue and red dicam, I believe is what it's called, mix to get this color. And so I think at this point, you know, learning that, I think when I do my 1-350 again, I'm going to see if it's possible to get that effect on the photo etch parts. I don't know that brass will react the same way to it as stainless steel will. But I just wanted to go back on that and let you know a little update on that. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I appreciate Sean Donovan sharing that article, and I'll post a link to the article on my Facebook page when I share, or when I get this video uploaded. So go there if you want to read the article. It's a very in-depth article, especially if you're building this refit model and you want to, you know, a little more information on it. It's a very good article to read. A lot of good information in it. But I think for the sake of this, I'm going to go with the Trek Modeler paint guide, and I'm going to paint these both the inboard and outboard the Euro 1 gray, and then on the outboard it calls for you to use steel and dry brush steel to get kind of that metallic finish to it. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but I just want to go back and give you a quick review on that. I'm going to start working on these after I get my secondary hull finished. So what you can see is I've got a couple of my light strips wired in, but I don't want to do any more to it until I get my shuttle bay worked out. I do still want to use it. My board has the chaser lights for it, so what I'm going to have to do is, because my decal's messed up on this, I'm going to have to try to hand paint or airbrush some of the details onto the floor of this. Not worry about getting a whole lot of detail into it, but just something to make it look decent. But I'm not too worried about the back half here, because by the time I get this shuttle bay in place, the doors in place, and you look through it, you're not going to see a whole lot in there. But I do want to get that done. So what I'm going to do now is I want to kind of work on, I've got one light strip over the top here to provide the light for my shuttle bay, and then one light strip on each side. I may have to add one to the top here as well when I get the strong backs in place. But we'll see. I'm going to try to lighten it up with this and see how well this lights up and go from there as far as whether I need to add more light. But what I want to do now is just kind of work on getting that pattern, some yellow striping or something painted on here. Get my my holes figured out for my runway chaser lights. Get those drilled, and because it's going to be such a tight spot, I'm actually going to use fiber optic to poke up through the floor of this to create that chaser light effect, and then that way my bulbs can kind of lay back a little bit, and it's not so cramped. So I'm going to work on that, and we'll come back here shortly and take a look at where I'm at. Alright, so what I've done here is I found a little more information on what this shuttle bay should look like once you're done getting it roughed in and put in place. But Green Strawberry doesn't really give you really great instructions for this, but here's an image of what it should look like after you've got it in place. So I'm working on cutting out this circle, or this rounded part here on the back tail fan section, and what I've done was the same thing that I do with the did with Arboretum windows and the officer's lounge. I just took my drill and I drilled holes about where I need it, and then I used it to break through those holes, and now I've got kind of a rough opening there. So remember, general rule of thumb for that is always make it smaller than what you need it, because it's better to have to go in and make it larger than to make it too big, and then you got to go in and do a lot of fill in it. But you can see there it's not too bad. I got to do a little rounding out there to get it to fit in, but again, don't want to make that hole too big when you're trying to fit things in like this. So I'm working on that. I did paint a kind of a yellow line there on the deck, and I put that made a little blast door for back there too, like I was talking about, to close off that where the cargo area would be. So that's all closed off, and I drilled, you probably can't make it out on here, but I did drill my holes on the deck too for my chaser lights. So I'm going to work on getting those. I've got my fiber optic here, and that's what I'm going to use to, so I don't have to worry about trying to wedge those LEDs in there. It's going to be kind of a tight fit in the back end here. So I'm going to work on getting that in place, and we'll come back and see where we're at. Alright guys, so I've got my sequential landing lights done for the shuttle bay here, which is, as you can see, the shuttle bay is very small, but I think it's looking pretty well. As you can see all the fiber optics I used. I like using fiber optics because it lets you get into tight spots, which I'm going to need to be able to get this into this 1/537 secondary hole. So what I'll do is I'll just bend all of this fiber optic back once the glue's not completely dry. But once it does dry, I'll be able to bend it quite a bit and flex it into place, and stuff all of this wiring behind here. And I'll probably even cut some of this wiring down, just because I don't want it blocking my windows inside here. So I'll get that sorted out once I get it in there, but let's take a look at it. Show you what we got here. Battery. And of course I got a light block down here yet where all the LEDs actually are, but hopefully the camera makes out. You can see my sequential running lights there. Just adds a little something to your landing bay when you do something like that. I think it looks pretty good. And then once I get my lighting inside the shuttle bay there, you'll be able to see a little better too. I doubt this is lighting it up very well, but I've got that little blast door I said I was going to put in place. I've got that back there, and I think this will fit pretty nicely. I'm actually glad that back part didn't work out because it gives me a little more room to stuff all this wiring inside. So I'll finish that up, and what I've got left to do is I still got to finish smoothing this all out where I've cut that out in the back there to fit the landing bay. I got to work all that out still and get the landing bay in place. That's going to take me probably a day or two to finish that up, but I'll update that on the next video next week. But you know, it's turned out pretty well. I'm happy with it, and the main thing is when you build these models, just be happy with the decisions that you make on it. You know, just don't get too caught up in being perfect. Don't get too caught up in whether it looks exactly like the movie or it looks exactly like the filming model, because it's two different things a lot of the time. So all I want to say is, you know, build these models, enjoy them. Build them to your satisfaction. Don't worry about what other people have to say about it. But till then, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button below and hit that subscribe button if you want the updates. Until then, until next time, keep modeling.